trade deadline week. Trade deadline has come and gone. Mixed bag, mixed reviews for Daryl Morey's trade deadline this week from Sixers fans. I personally was okay with it, but I'm curious to hear everyone's thoughts were on this. But we're going to go through each deal, and we're going to get to a question that we have from one of our fans, and we'll get to game picks before we head out of here. But first deal, so we went from a Martin full team to a Martin less team. The first of the two Martins was Caleb Martin. He was traded to Dallas along with 2 second-round picks for Quentin Grimes. Obviously, it was 2 second-round picks. We ended up throwing in another one because Caleb Martin's injury this year is more substantial than they initially thought. And I think right now there's no timetable on his return. So Sixers had to throw another second-rounder in there. But Quentin Grimes, a nice guard piece. A lot of Sixers fans were, at first, they didn't know really much about him. But I think once people saw his highlights and stats compared to Caleb Martin, everyone kind of got on board with that. But what are you guys' thoughts on Quentin Grimes?
I mean, I like him. I like him as far as being a young piece, putting him alongside Maxey. My concern is just, are we really trying to make the playoffs and make a push? I think he's a guy that can contribute, but I don't think he's a guy that can contribute in the way that Caleb Martin could as far as making a playoff push. So I think it was for the future move, and a salary move. So I mean that's So when you're doing that, I don't know how you can say that. Hey, now the goal is still the goal. So that kind of that's there for me. But as far as him being a player that can contribute in the future and be a part of the growth alongside Maxey, definitely. I like what he's doing. He played with my godson in high school on their travel team, so I've seen him play for a long time. So he's definitely a young guy that I think can be a contributor for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think just bird's eye. I mean, we wanted more shooting. We talked about this last time we had a show about this. We needed a guard who can guard some of the smaller lead guards that we're probably going to face if we go into the playing game and in the playoffs, like the Mitchells, the Brunsons. I think we envisioned Caleb doing that, but I think we saw that we needed a guard, I think, closer to their size who can hang with them. I don't think it would be fair. It was fair to ask Caleb to guard these guys all game long, and it just wasn't realistic. So I think Grimes is a good pairing with Maxey. It gives us shooting, activity. He's not negative on defense. Again, I just think he'll be a better guard matchup with other elite guards or lead guards in the East.
I mean, I do have a concern from the standpoint of if you made that move and you say you bring the guard in, so Council Jr. and Edwards are not sort of the young guys that are accomplishing that. Do you guys not feel that that's sort of a duplication in that with those guys?
I think Grimes is more of like a true 2, though, right? Edwards is kind of a. Yeah. I guess that would be the difference.
2 threes is very similar. And we still have Kelly. Like Kelly's not an older guy.
No, he's not. I think Grimes is probably a more consistent outside shooter than Oubre would be. Edwards, yeah, we probably just didn't want to hinge. I guess you could say Grimes is the middle between Edwards and Caleb. Not as playoff tested as Caleb, but a little more experienced than Edwards.
But I'm saying like Ricky Thompson. So you think that he's significantly better than him? That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I say I'm conflicted a little bit on what we gave up if we're saying we're trying to win. Still trying to win now. Yeah. But if you say, hey, we're trying to really load up and make sure we have certain types of player for the future, then if that's the reason, then okay, I'll roll with it. But I thought Caleb was different from his perspective that his versatility of what he could defend. When you had to build your team almost to beat Boston. So you had a guy that could guard 3 or 4 of their guys and could switch out on Porzingis. Now you take that away, and Paul George has already come out and said he don't want to play a bigger position.
Yeah.
So now Yabusele has made it easier to move with Caleb Martin with his play, because we were kind of looking at Martin playing some 4, but his play is kind of like diminished that need a little bit to play 4. Then you still have Paul, you still have Kelly, and then you have some young guys playing well. So you can make a move and bring in another wing player that could pretty much eventually replace Eric Gordon. Like, I just don't know how you can play him in front of Eric Gordon right now, the way he's been shooting the ball recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. So if you play him in front of that, then you're taking away a guy that's been shooting it well and playing well for you. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's a future move. But was it that, or was it more to get from under Caleb's salary and try to cut salary? Probably was that. If I had to lean on anything, I would lean on that more than anything.
More so than that, yeah. Yeah, I think it was a way to do that, but at the same time, be able to tell people it's not just that, because Grimes can score, he can shoot, he can defend a little bit. So it wasn't, hey, we're completely getting off a contract and just dumping it. It was more of it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it was more of a? I know he's 5 years younger than Caleb Martin, so it obviously is more of a future thing. But it sounds like Caleb Martin's injury, we weren't going to really have him. We won't know we were going to have him this year. I mean, there's no timetable on his return, so it's like maybe was it more about just getting production as well, because we weren't getting production from Caleb Martin because he wasn't going to play. They don't know when he's going to play. They say that 3 to 4 weeks, but there's really no timetable on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think that a guy that is eventually coming back with what we're going through, that you make a move because he's out. When, I don't think the move is because he was out.
Yeah. All right. So Quentin Grimes, not a bad move for the future. But hopefully, as we always say on the show, as long as those 3 play together, we have as good a shot as anybody. It's just a matter of those guys being on the court with each other, regardless of Quentin Grimes or Caleb Martin. Want to make some quick cash while enjoying the big game with your family and friends? Together with our friends at Underdog, we got a few exciting things to share with you. First, if you've yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code CHIEFCONCERNS, that's one word, to claim your free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to 1,000 smackaroos in bonus cash. New users will also get a Travis Kelce free pick for every new customer who signs up on Underdog before the big game. Secondly, for all existing Underdog users, Underdog is offering a no-sweat Sunday entry for all users, which means that everyone will either cash in on their big game entry or get their money back in bonus credit. If you have no idea how to play, well, we got you covered. Over the last 5 weeks, we have given 19 selections and have cashed on 15 of them. Pretty good. Predicting higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. So we are ready to continue this heater into the big game between the Chiefs and Eagles and beyond into the NBA season. So let's make this money and have a damn good time. Second deal, this is more of a quick one. I was actually very surprised at the amount of people who were pissed off about this deal. But KJ Martin was used as a salary dump in which we traded KJ to the Detroit Pistons for 2 seconds. We didn't get anything back. So what do you guys think about salary dumping KJ Martin after signing him to the really popular balloon deal, which we talked about pretty much all offseason?
I would imagine most people's disappointment was the fact that we didn't turn him into a player. So it seems that that's just exactly what you said, a salary dump. So maybe you could have put him with someone else and got a player that could contribute, but to just dump it for picks. And the sole purpose was probably to sign him to get a player. If I'm guessing, that was probably the goal. I'll see why people are disappointed about that.
Yeah, I mean,
it was obvious you cutting salary, you're trying to get up under the aprons and all that, and so that's where we're at.
Yeah, they're doing it for Teja, for guys like Teja to save the franchise money, Eric.
I don't care about saving Josh Harris's money. You guys spend. I mean, it's not. Yeah, cap's one thing, but luxury tax, what he has to pay. And we're not repeaters, so it's not, I don't know. And it is unfortunate, but it's not surprising. We signed KJ to that deal, assuming at this point of the season we'd be in a lot better shape than we are now. I don't think we saw this coming. I don't think this was the point of that contract or signing him to it. They did it literally to be able to trade it for an upgrade, but it's hard to go into Harris's office and justify spending more when, spending more in the offseason didn't really help us up to this point. Like, we're here right now. We spent a lot of money. So I don't know. Spending more is not necessarily the way out of it, but it's tough. I just think we were desperate to get off that contract, and obviously what we got back showed.
Yeah. All sides point to, and a lot of fans think that a lot of the shedding of the money was able to kind of put us in a better position to be able to re-sign Yabusele in the offseason. So, and hopefully that does happen.
It's a good way to spin it.
Yeah. I mean, Morey kind of mentioned in his presser earlier today that, Yabusele likes being here and we like him being here. So we'll see how talks go in the offseason. All right. So the last move that we made, everybody wanted Jimmy Butler, but we went with Jared Butler. So we got a JB, but not the JB that everybody wanted. So the last move we made was trading Reggie Jackson and a first to the Wizards for Jared Butler and 4 second-round picks. What are your guys' thoughts on this move and overall on kind of grading the deadline?
Another move for me is a salary move and a move for the future. That's what it is. I mean, I think Butler will be a nice, solid player in this league, but it's a move for the future. I mean, if you're saying that we're coming into and trying to win a playoff series, and you would make that move. So that's what it was. Let's call it what it is. And move on. Hopefully, he can come in and keep developing and be a bright spot for the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a guy with more potential, less today, more for tomorrow. But, just be positive about it. Butler did put up some good stats with the Wizards in limited time, 7 points and 3 assists and 11 minutes a game. That's volume right there. That's efficient. We got a bunch of seconds for the first, which not bad considering we've had a pretty good eye for talent in the second round. So I don't mind, that getting more, and there might be some other guys we have to get off of their contracts in the offseason.
It'll help him. He'll come in, hopefully he kind of is a sponge with Kyle and learn from his experience and and then maybe that can accelerate his development. Sometimes when you're around a guy like that, then, have to play against Maxey or go against Maxey and see how Maxey works. That, like I said, maybe that can accelerate his progress to maybe he can be that backup point guard that we can count on next season and, going from there.
Well, I think he has 10 days left in his contract, so we're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Somewhat soon.
We'll see.
But, yeah, I mean, we'll have to make a decision on that soon, but good guard depth and upside.
Yeah, Wizards fans love him. Being in the D.C. area, they love him so much. And yesterday on our account, I made a comment just asking a little bit about Jared Butler. Everybody's flooded in saying, oh, man, you guys got to steal. He's a gem. Everyone was loving him. So, I don't know. When usually another opposing team's fan bases are big fans of a guy that left their team, that's generally a good thing. Unless you're Sixers fans who get mad about, letting Matisse Thybulle go, and he still hasn't found a jumper, and it's been a couple of years now. So.
Oh, my goodness.
I love Matisse. I'm just kidding.
Old cut.